Hello, welcome along to the NUFC360 podcast. My name is Stuart, and I'm here tonight with two guests. We're with Max, all the way from Sweden, and producer Mark, all the way from Newcastle. How are you both, gentlemen?
Good, thanks.
Producer
Ticking
Mark,
along.
Ticking along. Very good.
Stay Bruce.
Oh no, it's gone off the rails already. That's terrible. Cut it. Okay, yeah. Well, tonight we're going to have a good lengthy chat about a couple of things. We're going to talk about the West Ham performance a little bit, and in that we'll be discussing Alan Saint-Maximin, as many Newcastle fans are at the moment. We're going to be looking at our transfer window and giving our verdicts on how we feel Newcastle have done through January and what our squad looks like now. And of course, we're going to be talking about that very hotly discussed topic, the Carling Cup final, Wembley. It's not Carling Cup anymore, still call it that. The Carabao Cup. We're going to be talking about the cup final tickets. Have you got them? Are you going to get them? Are you going to go? Things like that. As usual, get your comments in and you can be part of the show. And if you do want to watch it now or later, give it a like or a follow, and we will get even bigger and better and better. We'll start off with our first, just general point, I suppose. I was very fortunate to be at the match with producer Mark on Saturday, which was brilliant, despite his abuse of the ref. I want to get a bit of an idea of what you felt the performance was like overall. I will start with you, Mark. Give us your 2 cents.
Quick start and then a disappointing end.
Second one. Oh, you're a missus. Okay. Any standout moments or headlines for you from the game?
Well, to be fair, it's actually two really good finishes, both from Willock and from Wilton. Whether or not we can definitively say that the ball was 100% over the line for Wilson. Camera angles may show it was, but as we'd learned from the World Cup, doesn't necessarily mean that it was. So, yeah, we'll have to take it that, it was out because the goal didn't stand. But
like we were saying, weren't we saying, because we were there, we were at the Gallagher, it was right in front of us, and we said it looked not dodgy, but it looked suspect. But we were like, oh no, it's the whole ball definitely hasn't crossed. Like, definitely, it's maybe half, but it looked like, he just about got it in a different angle. When we saw after the game, it did look a wee bit more over. But I still don't know if it was all over. And I heard on the NUFC3, the Code UK, the official commentary, they were saying there's daylight in it. I couldn't really see that.
No, I couldn't see daylight.
No.
It's to do with the angles, and that's where the frustrating aspect of it. For me, the person who had the best angle of it was the assistant referee. The lines, the lino, and the lines didn't flag. So, if anything, unless you can be 100% certain that the angle that you're looking at as the VAR, it's gonna shows that it is conclusive that it is out, then you stick with the on-field decision, just like the handball against Joe Linton, because there wasn't supposedly a conclusive image that showed that he hadn't handled it. So therefore, the on-field decision,
it's all about consistency, isn't it? It's just lack of consistency. In these
exactly. Like I said, they'll stop it and go, well, look, but the way you're looking at it is from an angle, so it can look as if there's, it went over. But then if you bring, it's one of those things. It's to do with your vision and your line of sight to whether or not because things can look completely different. And this comes from a prime example. You could be sitting in level 7, and you can see loads of space on the far side, and you're getting angry at the fact that they're never passing there.
Yeah.
But when you come to the pitch level, you can see that the view that you could see at level 7 isn't the view that's there at pitch level, and therefore they don't see that. So
perspective is what you're saying.
Exactly. And for me, I think the assistant referee had a better perspective than the camera angles. And that's the thing, though. when they were saying, I think even wasn't it the offside for Liverpool and the Wolves? They didn't have the camera angle to show that it was onside. So the on-field decision had to stand.
Yeah.
So you go. So it's just those. Then you go, might well let the on-field decision stand on that one. So it's the inconsistencies in that one, because I don't think VAR can say with 100% certainty that ball was, that they could be 100% confident that ball was over the line.
It's hedging their bets a bit, you know. It's like a bad tackle. It's a bad tackle in the opening minutes of a game. It's arguably like a red card tackle, but they give it as a yellow because they're like, it's fine. It'll all work itself out in the game, and we'll find a way to balance it. You know, you don't want to impact the game so early, because you could argue you score that game, it's written off. Now we know that wasn't the case, because to segue nicely, about 35 seconds later, Max, Callum Wilson canters through, lovely through ball from Sean Longstaff and puts it in the net. At that point, Max, what was your feeling? You're obviously watching the game from home. What was your feeling? Did you think we were en route to a bit of a smashing, or what were your feelings after the opening 5 minutes?
Well, it was a very weird feeling, because I've just seen the replay of the ball and they just disallowed the goal. And I just saw the replay. I tried to see how is the ball outside. No, okay. And then the replay stops and Callum Wilson is through a goal and scores. I was like, what happened? And then I know, you don't know if it was offside. I don't know. Was it like a quick free kick that they weren't allowed to take? So I didn't even really celebrate. I was like, yes! What happened?
And then I saw what celebrated a wee bit, Mark, just a wee bit, whatever it did.
Obviously, it was a goal kick, because obviously the goal. Now, obviously, the one thing that we just need to obviously counter and put on from the fact that if the Willock goal had stood, there's nothing to say that the Wilson goal would have happened.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, in that sense,
it was kind of the equivalent of when you're playing in the playground as a kid, and the score is like, 25-24, because you just score every time you go up the pitch, and it's like someone that you feel wronged, or someone scored against you or whatever. So like a really good player just gets the ball, puts it down, and beats like 9 players and goes and does all himself. It was kind of like that, where you felt like annoyed, and
I do think that defensively we weren't at our best for the equaliser.
Oh yeah, definitely. It bounces through. I think Eddie Howe said, we've been so solid, those things will happen. And he's right, they will happen occasionally. And I think we were at the other end, so we couldn't really see what had happened, but having watched it back, yeah, we missed a header there. Fine. And look, maybe giving him space, fine. Shouldn't happen, we'll work on it. I agree, you weren't at our best, but our best and our standards are almost perfect. So if you're just not meeting those and you're conceding the odd chance, it was a good finish. It was a good touch, actually, and a decent finish and a stupid celebration.
I do also think we missed 2 players. One, we missed Bruno, because I just don't think the midfield knew what it was doing, really, in that sense. Obviously, Joe Linton has been playing more on that side, and Joe Wilkes. So then for them both to be in the centre, it was probably a bit strange for them. Obviously, Longstaff isn't normally sitting where as far back, so he was coming to get used to it. So I just think we started fast and we got a goal, but I just think the midfield wasn't necessarily, I think they got better as the game went on and they got more into the game, they got more comfortable. I also think the other thing that cost us was the fact that we were missing Isak due to the concussion, because I think if we were able to bring Isak on along with Gordon as we did later on, I think that might have changed the game, and I think you might have seen different. But when you're basically having Callum Wilson, having to play in 90 minutes,
makes it very difficult, because he's shown he hasn't been particularly. It's not like he's not been fit, but he's not finished games strongly, and he's been subbed off. And when he's been subbed off a wee bit, so to do a whole game around that, it's going to be a lot more difficult for him.
Plus, the majority of the starting 11 had also played against Southampton in a grueling second leg semi-final.
Max, is this what you expected? Was it a bit of a? I know that going over when I was flying over for the game. I called a draw. I didn't call 1-1. I called a draw because I thought there'd be a bit of a hangover from the cup and a bit of fatigue. Is that what you expected, or were you disappointed with the performance or the result?
I was expecting a draw because, as you said, you were a hangover from the semi-final, and it's going to be hard for them. Even though Eddie Howe is a very good manager and tells them, "Oh, you need to refocus now. Next league game." It's very hard for them, I believe, to do that. And also, we cannot forget that even though West Ham are very low in the table right now, they still have a Europa Conference League team. And they played really well last season, and that's still the same players. So there's something in that team. And Declan Rice is world class. They have some really good players, and I could tell around midway the first half this is gonna be really tough because of course we started really strong. I was like, oh, okay, this is very easy. What's going on here? But as soon as the game settled a bit, it was becoming quite obvious that we were gonna have a really tough time breaking them down, especially without Bruno and Isak also to have as an option. And I was starting to get a bit worried because I thought maybe we might lose it because they were doing really well and countering really good, dangerous from set pieces as we saw. So it was in the end I was a bit angry at the draw, but when you think about it, in a day or two after, it's a good result actually, and we take a point.
I agree. I thought they were good for a point, to be honest. I thought Rice was very good. Just in the way he's massive. I didn't know he was so big. He's so big. And he just marshals that sort of CDM role and had a number 6 role sitting behind the other two, or I think when he plays Keita in front of him. But he just does so much. Like every time a ball went, he was mopping it up. Now, we were not crisp enough in the passing. And a bit wayward, but anything he was picking up on, even the slightest missed pass, and it was really, really impressive. Okay, we're going to talk about one more player, and it's our first main topic, I suppose, of the evening, and it's Alan St-Maximin. A lot of chat about him on social media. There's certainly a lot of chat around us at the game. Mark, what in terms of his future here or not here? Where do you think his future lies? On the bench, at a different club? Is he a starter? What do you think is going to be the outcome here come the summer?
It's an opinion that will divide because you'll have those that love ASM regardless, and you'll have those that don't. My opinion is I've always been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yes, he is getting back more, but there's no hunger and desire. He's quite slow to get back if he is to get back, and he does the bare minimum. In terms of even going forward, every single one of the balls that he put into the box, he didn't even look up. He just put the ball into the box, and as if to say, "I expect you to be there." Well, no, look up and see where they are, and then that judges and determines where your pass is aimed at. So that's one thing, when we're losing possession, when we're getting up that far, because he's just putting the ball into the box and just letting West Ham have it. Whether or not it's his persona, but his attitude just doesn't seem right. It's of an attitude of he doesn't care. And I'll say this, and I've said this on. I think he is more bothered about Helios than he is about Newcastle United.
Maybe his money, his vanity product, possibly.
Well, no, it is that, and it's like, oh, he's deserved to start. He's deserved to start, mate. Well, he's deserved to be put back on the bench after Saturday's performance. Then, Anthony Gordon did more in the few minutes that he was on the pitch than ASM did for the majority of the game that he was on.
I agree, and we'll definitely talk about that. Max, why, in your opinion, do you think that ASM was so effective, or much more effective, under Steve Bruce than he has been under Eddie Howe?
Ooh, that's hard to say. I think he's much more fitter now, actually, but I think Eddie Howe demands more of him in terms of tracking back. And I read the article on The Athletic when they analyzed that the game against West Ham was the most he tracked back in any Newcastle game. And I don't think he has the stamina or the energy to do both things he's good at, so going forward and also tracking back. I think you can't have both with him. You either have to have the just attacking part or you have the defending part, and then you lose the attacking part, which he's so good at. And of course, that creates a problem in the team because then the balance gets wrong. But I also
the
think
Joe Linton has that. Joe
Yeah,
Willock
but-
has that. Miguel Almiron will have that. Anthony
Yeah,
Gordon
but they
has
don't-
that.
they don't have the fine. Can they do what he did against Man City? That's my question. Can they do that? What he did?
No.
I
No.
could.
So-
I would argue. I think Willock could in
Nah.
time, and I think Anthony Gordon probably could.
Maybe to be seen, but I don't know if Willock
Yeah.
could, and that's not a knock on Willock.
And in
I
answer
just
to your
think-
question to why ASM probably looked better in a Steve Bruce team,
Yeah.
when you're defensive minded and ASM's the only real attacking outlet
Oh,
that you're seeing or in that team, then of course it's going to be exciting because as a Newcastle fan base, we're going to look at him. He's we're attacking. Yeah, look at him. Yeah, he's great. But you look at it now and you're going, Miggy looks a better player than ASM. Isak is looking that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got a better caliber of player and we've got a better squad of players.
I think
Than that,
maybe
and I don't think ASM has ever been a squad player.
Oh no,
He's a maverick and
I agree
he's
with that.
an individualistic talent.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think it works. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you'll hear this from Eddie Howe and you'll be like, oh, yeah, Eddie's, ASM is a big pot. I don't think he's an Eddie Howe player
No.
in reality. So I wouldn't be surprised if you said if you've seen Alan St. Maximin leave in the summer.
I would probably agree with you, to be honest. We'll mention that very quickly. I think what Max is getting at, and I would certainly agree if this is what he's saying, is he has a set of skills that are fairly unique in that even if you take ASA or Almiron, I won't include Gordon yet because we don't know yet, but Almiron, Willock, even Isak, when they beat players, they beat them with pace. So knock the ball around and we're a decent pattern and they blitz past them. Isak's cross against Thingy, Southampton. ASM can beat people with like skills. They can literally bamboozle you. Now, he hasn't done that since the City game. He's done it once.
No.
He has that in his,
But,
engine, in his locker. He just hasn't done it. I'm kind of agree with Max, but also you, Mark. I don't think he is an Eddie Howe player. I was staggered how lazy he was in person. I couldn't believe it because I was able to watch him more than I would in the game. Usually following the ball. You would get back and he was just jogging back. And look, I think he is trying to do what Eddie Howe's asked him to do, but that comes with its own perils because he has to track back. He's not used to it. He hasn't got the engine, as you said. And so he ends up, he looks scared to me as he'll get the ball in the final third. And when in the past, he would just have a go and be widely like, inappropriate, but you know what I mean? Like unpredictable. He's so predictable now. He'll get the ball final third, go, oh, do step overs, and then pass it back. Because Eddie Howe has drilled it into him, do not lose the ball. Don't lose the ball. Retain possession.
I'm not being funny. Dan Burn was more of an attacking outlet down the left-hand side than Maxi was.
No, but say three things. Yeah, it was his first start in a while, so I'll give him the benefit. I think he should start next game too because we need to see more. And also, he tried to do too much things because I think he knows he's starting and he has Gordon behind him. He's got some players coming back. He has to take his opportunity and might feel the pressure.
How many
on that.
things
So
did he try? Because I didn't see him try one.
No,
One
but
thing-
I think he overthinked everything. He didn't come natural to him. When he got the ball, it was like pass it to Dan Burn. And also, if you're gonna play Dan Burn with him, there's no need for him to track back as much. I don't know. Dan Burn doesn't
Yes,
offer
there
anything
is.
going forward, and Joe Linton is
Oh,
covering.
whoa,
for him.
whoa.
No, but he doesn't.
Whoa.
Dan Burn, yeah, he's scored one goal, but he hasn't done jack shit after that. His crosses are bad. When he gets the ball, we lose tempo
Hang
in
on.
our attacking build-ups.
I'm positive there's a cross from Dan Burn that actually reached a Newcastle player against West Ham, which is more than any of ESM's.
I think there's another point to be made there, which actually is sort of what Max is saying, but it's actually a good point, which is on the right-hand side, and Mark, you commented on this during the game quite a lot. You look how well Trippier and Almiron work together. Like it's almost telepathic now. They work so well because Trippier is such a good defensive, but he's also so good going forward and finding that pass. I love Dan Burn, but his passing and crossing aren't his best attributes. I'm not saying they're bad. There's not his best. He's far better defensively and aerially and strength.
But Dan Burn's getting that way with Joe Willock and Joe Linton. So that three on the left-hand side was starting to work the same as what you had with like the Longstaff, Trippier, and Mickey.
I'm wondering with Target.
You've got those same.
With thing is what I mean. Would he when he's back? Would he be a better option? You know, more tack minded.
Honestly, I don't see how you could drop Dan Burn. And this is
I wasn't suggesting that. Yeah, I wouldn't drop him either. Or is he done for you, Mark? Is ASM now done for? Is that his last sort of like bridge?
Yes,
for you?
Because you're saying he has. Yeah, Max is saying no, he hasn't started for a while. Well, right then, yeah, but any player should have had the hunger to go, right, this is my chance, this is my game. I need to show what I can do to keep this spot. He didn't do that.
Yeah.
Anthony Gordon went on there as if to say, I'm starting next week. Yeah, this is why you're going to start.
I mean, we'll talk about this because it sort of ties into the next topic, which is the transfer window. And also our only signing was Gordon, and we'll talk about him now. We obviously let go Shelby and Chris Wood as well for decent transfer fees. We talked a little bit whenever Gordon signed the last podcast about I think we're all pretty pleased. No, Mark, other Mark was not pleased with it. I think begrudgingly he had to say he wasn't bad after the game, which from someone that would sort of really didn't like him, that's probably quite high praise because I thought he was excellent. We couldn't really see what he was doing because he was on the other side of the pitch and he was very attacking. So Max, from your point of view, you could take in the whole game. How did you view Gordon's performance?
Yeah, I was criticism of him before he joined.
Sorry, you were.
I've been the first one to hold up my hands and say I think he looked really good when he came on. And the thing he did the good was he dropped into the the number 10 space, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Very good from the wing. So he dropped back in between the lines between the West Ham defense and midfield, and he received the balls in quite good areas, and that was how the Wilson opportunity came about, because Almiron found him in that space and he put a brilliant ball for Wilson, and it was very direct. I know he worked hard. Like Mark said before, he's a Eddie Howe type player. You can see that it's like an Almiron on the other side, but I think with a bit more quality, maybe we'll see. I'm still a bit skeptical of him. I've only seen like 10 minutes of him, but
Anthony Gordon is hard working. He's aggressive. He's not afraid to put in the miles and to roll the sleeves up. And that's what Eddie Howe wants. He wants commitment. He wants the passion. He wants the desire. He wants you to run through brick walls.
Look at Longstaff.
Exactly, Longstaff,
because he's worked.
Exactly. And I'll still say, it's harsh when you're going, well, look, you've got Joe Linton, you've got, it's difficult to be thinking, well, who you're going to drop out of the midfield aspect of it. But you can't drop Sean Longstaff, because Sean Longstaff, for me, is integral to that side, because he does the dirty work. He does the hard work, which you're not really seeing. It goes under the radar, but he's integral to that, and he covers a lot of ground.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. We obviously could see some of it. I mean, Gordon's first touch, like his first little pass play, was
good.
There was an audible like cheer, like a sort of feeling in the stadium where we were when he did that, because we just watched ASM, and not to bring it back to him for the last 70 odd minutes, sort of labour about, not do much and not go direct.
Is it not telling that there was not one chance throughout the game for Maxi?
Yeah. But it was poor. Look,
but there was a chant for Anthony Gordon before he came on the pitch, as if the fans were saying, Eddie, would you mind getting Anthony on?
Yes.
ASM's being a bit
not very good.
bit
yeah.
So there was that.
Yeah.
But I also think, in terms of that, going back to like the game, I think Wilson probably needed to come off towards the end, and if Isak had come on, you imagine Isak, Miggy, and actually I think it was Jacob Murphy at that point, and then Gordon. It's a really good. And the other thing which I just need to point out, because I actually need to praise him, is Elliot Anderson. I thought he had a great game when he came on. He looked good. And I was actually surprised by that, because the last performance thing, I was like,
I didn't want to
push
realize this while being in the city of Newcastle, but I don't rate Elliot Anderson. I've said this for a long time now. I wish he was good, and I wish all the best. And that's only going on what I've seen. I've not seen he's come on against cup opposition in lower league, and he's been fine.
Yeah, it's been quite bad.
But he was. I agree with Mark. He was very good, lively, quick in the ball, quick, fast. And I think it might have been the other Mark had made the point at the time that it looks as if he's bulked up a wee bit, that he's been kept out of the team for on purpose, and they've worked on him and they've worked on things, and it's actually helped him quite a lot. So I'm quite quietly excited about him now, maybe for next season, because from going from actually I don't think he's going to be it sort of thing. Maybe he might be one to watch, so fingers crossed on that. Mark, sorry, do you have something else to say there?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I was leading into the top of that we've got over the transfer window verdict. I think everyone was thinking we were probably a midfielder short. But I think in Eddie Howe's eyes, it was, yes, Bruno's got himself suspended, on the, with maybe hours to go, or an hour to go in the transfer window, which was unforeseen. But we do have, if in an emergency, Miggy can drop into the midfield. Anthony Gordon could probably drop into the Joe Willock role if needed. Obviously Longstaff's playing there. Elliot Anderson has just now shown that he can do it. So there are options in there, and I think that the choice was, let's not be hasty when it's only. And I still don't think you would have seen Shelby starting, because he only had to start 2 more games to have a contract extension. So there was that part as well.
Who do you drop for Madison in the summer? I'm being genuinely serious about that, by the way. I think we'll get him in the summer.
Depends where you're playing him.
Couple points.
See, I like the idea of developing our own talents.
I'd probably drop
signing players.
You'd like to develop Max, bring other younger players,
No, I mean, I feel more like something towards the Longstaffs and the Andersons. I feel like when you bring up your own talents, it's something more special. I mean, look at Arsenal now with Zach and stuff like that. It's very
cheaper as well.
It's cheaper, and I like it. But I also understand the need for good quality players.
You're not going to risk doing a Man City, allegedly.
But that's why Joe White went out on loan. He's a youngster from the academy. You've got Dylan Stevenson. He's went on loan in Scotland, and I think he's doing okay. In fact, I think he scored in his debut, if I remember.
Yeah, he did.
Grant Cools on Hearts. Apparently, he was very good in the last game.
Exactly. So we have got youngsters coming through. Yeah, Grant Cools is not really from the area, but he's a youngster.
There, I think.
But you are looking at that, but you are still looking and going, right, but Dan Byrne is a Geordie from the area, so we've got him, and Sean Longstaff's in. Yeah, so you have got a couple of players who are from the area. Paul Dummett, hails from nearby. So we are doing that. In terms of another youngster, we brought in Harrison Ashby from West Ham, and that's the biggest judgment in terms of that. Doesn't really work for Anthony Gordon, because Everton fans are just a bunch of dickheads, but the West Ham fans were gutted to lose him. So that should tell you that they had a lot of promise in him, and he has in terms of his style of play, it's quite Trippier-esque. And that's why I think and I think Eddie Howe's went, well, let's go for him. No one else. I know there was all this Ivan Vision, but I just think the club and Dan Ashworth and everything has got this process, and they're going, well, no, that's who we want. Let's take our time. Let's go and get him. And and that's what, I think that also ties into why we extended Trippier's contract. We've now got Kieran Trippier in a position to basically guide Harrison Ashby for a couple of years. to basically take over from him. Yeah, and that's what we should be doing. Get youngsters in, use the experience that they've got. Yeah, whether or not it is Callum Wilson. Yeah, when he's getting to his later years, should we say? Yeah, or bringing in like a younger keeper to learn from someone like Nick Pope. Yeah, that's what realistically we need to be looking at, and using the fact that we've got that. I'd also love to think that we could harness Trippier sort of like knowledge after his playing career, which I'd hope we would. Yeah, but yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, where you just look at it and you just going, realistically, have we got a transfer wrong? I'm hard pushed to say we ever have.
No, you could argue Wood, but Wood did a job. Wood did everything he needed to do, and maybe he cost too much.
He was brought in. So he brought in. He weakened Burnley. We stayed up, and we've got him out for 15 million. Yeah, so we basically paid 10 million to have him for a year and to keep him up. So yeah, we're looking at that. Yeah, it's not bad business. 12 million for Trippier, 10 million for Nick Pope. Yeah, Botman. You're still looking at Guimaraes. Yeah. So in terms of like the recruitment aspect of it, I forgot. Yeah. I still can't think of anything that we're getting.
Well, the biggest controversy probably was Gordon, and I think in about 10 minutes he sort of showed what he can do, and the fact that 40 million might even bang on, to be honest, for him, maybe even a cheap whisper sort of thing. John Gandy with comment there, we put up there, Mark. Other consideration, getting young players in so we can get a decent squad depth without a crazy wage, but that's a really good point. And we're sort of suffering a wee bit from that in the centre mid at the moment. We talked about this in the previous pods that we're a team in transition, and a team is transitioning quicker than we thought we would. So we're now in a position where we went on a big cup run, and we'll talk about that in a second. We're also fighting for Champions League. Who knew that would happen? And so we're really trying to sort of get an awful lot out of a squad that really has only had a number of additions. When you add the signings we've made, it's not been loads. We've been pretty careful about bringing players in, things like that. So in terms of squad depth, we don't have a whole heap. I think I looked at, it might have been Chelsea's squad depth whenever they made all those signs, and it was crazy. Like, they had 3 first-team players for every position. 3 name-wise. I'm not saying they would perform. They were big names. They were recognizable names. They were what you would call like top-class players. Whereas, as you rightly point out, and it doesn't bother me this, if we have no Trippier because Minkeo's perpetually injured, we've got Harrison Ashby. I think it'd be great, but right now, is he going to be replacement Trippier? No, he's not. So yeah, I think it's an excellent point from John Gandy there. Thank you very much, John. We're going to talk about our last topic of the evening, which is the thing that's been on a lot of people's minds, especially I think it's tomorrow, isn't it, Mark? There's a tickets release or something. Let's see.
Well, there was tickets released Monday and Tuesday. I've got a feeling the Wednesday one's probably going to be the larger rush in terms of the allocation. So it's one of those things. But yeah, I think everyone's just trying the best to do what they can to either get a ticket or get down there to see them.
Yeah, the cup final. I'll be honest, it's all I'm thinking about. I am concerned. I'm looking forward to the Bournemouth game, and I'm very much looking forward to the Liverpool game. I'm not going, but can't wait to watch it. But that's all I've been thinking about, daydreaming about, just random.
And we just play the reserves for the next 2 league games.
Yeah, honestly, I'm just like, just don't pick up any injuries or thing. It's literally all I've been thinking about. It's just a cup final. Interestingly, we were on after or during, I think, the Man United game, so we didn't really get a good chance to look at the fever pitch reactions from the Manchester United fans and players when they got through to the final. Tepid would not describe it. Like, they could not have given less of a shit that they got through. It was ridiculous. The players were like, yeah, right, good job, lads. And
I thought there was a fire drill.
What, sorry?
I thought there was a fire drill. Yeah, it was that empty.
But I was just like, no, it's a cup final. So, but look, that's my only concern with it. And I said this before, that we are bigging it up so much, and rightly so. We never get into finals, but I just think it's going to be an occasion for us, and it's going to be a Sunday for Manchester United.
That's the thing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just Sunday. Oh, it's Sunday's a game. They'll be relaxed. We'll be like, and that might work in our favour. We could be up for it and really going into
Well, that's
things.
the thing. Manchester United will be going there. Well, Man U fans will be going there expecting to win. We're going there just to enjoy the fact that we're at Wembley. The only good thing for the Newcastle fans travelling down on the Saturday and Sunday, you don't have to contend with any Man U fans because, to be fair, they're already in London anyway.
That's true. A very good point. So you are hoping to get tickets to the game. Max, you don't think you're going to get tickets to the game, but you are going to London anyway. Tell us about that. What are your plans? Don't give your hotel away. I don't want anyone stalking you. Just in general, what's your plans?
No, it was. Yeah,
He wishes.
Yeah, exactly. No, the thought was that I didn't want to be at home in Sweden just by myself watching the game, even though it's the final. We might lose, we might win. I don't know, but just the thought of me just sitting by myself watching the TV, it just didn't feel right. And also because it's the first final I've ever seen us play in, so just that in itself.
You're lucky boy. You're lucky boy. You could have suffered many times like Mark and I.
Yeah. So for me this is special, and then I thought I had to be in England at least to watch the game. And since many of you guys are going to London, I was like, yeah, okay, it's easy to get to London from Sweden, so let's go there. And I've not been there, so it's gonna be nice to experience the city and also hopefully see us win. And maybe I won't go to Wembley, and that's fine. I didn't expect to either, because I know how the allocation for tickets are, and there's a lot of other people who's been supporting the club for a lot longer than I have, and watched so many games live and suffered so many dreadful results and times. So I'm not bitter about that. So I'm just happy to go there and experience the whole thing. Actually,
well, I mean,
1990 was it 1998 Arsenal, 99 Man U, 2000 semi-final Chelsea. We also then had a semi-final at the Cardiff Millennium Stadium under Graham Souness.
Sure.
So we've had a fair cup heart. Yeah, obviously we got knocked out against Benfica in the quarterfinals of the Europa.
That caught me up quite a lot. I've been really upset about that. I just thought it was ours. I don't know why, and it obviously wasn't. The thumbness. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Max, that's a really good point. It's an interesting one because you and I are in the same boat essentially. We're obviously not from Newcastle, don't live in Newcastle. I've always maintained that it is Newcastle fans who live in Newcastle. And Mark will probably test list don't really have a choice. I mean, you kind of do. You don't really you're going to support Newcastle. You just go to support them. The sort of pitfall or the double-edged sword of having a choice when your team is really bad is difficult, because it means, I mean, I've ran through it in my head so many times where I was like, that's it. I can't do it anymore. I'm not going to follow. I'm not going to do it. You could do that. It'd be so easy to do that. Because no one's going to be checking on you. Nobody cares. That's for Newcastle. Like my wife's a Newcastle fan. Like my kids will be. Hopefully, they're too young now. Nobody cares. So I could have, at any point during the terrible reign, could have said, "Yeah, I don't want to. Not going to do it anymore." But you can't, because you're locked in, and it's like an addiction. You cannot stop it, sort of thing.
That's very true.
So it's strange. And I agree with you about wanting to be around people. I was too young really for 98, 99. I was only 10 and 11. So again, I watched them, but it was a kid, so it didn't matter. But now I wanted to be around. If it's not Newcastle fans, then sort of family. And now I have 2 kids and raising them to Newcastle fans, the poor little buggers. So we're watching the game, and I was at the stadium on Sunday there. I'm cleaning my bank account out, buying Newcastle memorabilia. We all bought shirts. I bought them all shirts and all to watch. We're all going to watch it on the Sunday. Together with my wife and the kids and some other family are going to come over. I'm really Newcastle fans still, but it doesn't matter because they all don't like Man United, because no one likes Man United, and so we'll enjoy that. Mark, you're going over hoping to get a ticket, I know, and if not, just going to enjoy the atmosphere, I'm assuming, and soak it up down south.
I haven't made my mind up on that one.
Oh, okay.
Well, no, it's just because you look and you're thinking, is it worth traveling down? Is it? Yeah. So there's all those things that you're going through the mind. Obviously, there's a lot of time to do, to make those decisions. But no, as it stands, preparations are in place. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That if I get a ticket, but yeah, if I don't, then we'll look at it that way either.
Okay. Fair enough. I'm sure. You hopefully you will. I don't know what the situation is, to be honest. It seems pretty difficult. I know the world and his wife wants a ticket to this game. I think a lot of people on neutrals I've listened to on the radio and on podcasts have talked about this being a really good final potentially, because it's not a City, it's not Liverpool. I think we were just perpetually fed up with those two teams getting to finals. Even Arsenal to a lesser extent. It's two teams that haven't won anything for a wee while. I know Man United probably like 6 years ago or something, and we're far, far, far longer than that. But it's again two teams that have sort of been
1960.
I know, two teams born anew, two teams fresh. You know, it's got two teams play good football. Both of them, you know, Man United do play good football. So do we. So it'll be really interesting seeing what happens. So yeah, really interesting, guys. We'll finish off tonight. We're going to have we chat or a little prediction as we always do, just for the Bournemouth game. We're away to Bournemouth, same time as last week. There, a 5:30 kickoff on Saturday night, live on Sky. I'm assuming as well. I'm assuming, yeah, that's why it's 5:30. What about your prediction? Just give me your score, obviously, but maybe a little bit how you think the game will go, how we line up, maybe will there be changes, what you think might happen. Who wants to go first? Letting you choose.
I'll go first.
Oh, good. You're not going to tell me prediction because you never do, but you are going to tell me what you think will happen.
Well, Bruno will be missing, but Isak will be back in the squad.
Good. Will he start, do you think?
No.
Okay, and will ASM start? Not should he? Do you think he will?
I think he will start.
So yeah. I think Max is right. I think he will start. And what do you think? Don't need predictions. You don't give them. Do you think it'll be a better performance against West Ham?
I think Eddie Howe would want one, because I think you could see his frustration.
Yeah.
At the performance aspect of it. So I think there was probably a frustrated Eddie Howe.
Bournemouth aren't very good. They're not very good.
We said that about West Ham, to be fair.
See, I didn't.
I never did.
And Max to the point as well, and he's quite right. They are a very good side. They should know. To me, it shows how bad a job David Moyes has done. I know they've had injuries, and a lot of the players are back now. That's fine. They've been unlucky with injuries. They have a good squad. To
be fair, it is the first time Eddie Howe will be back at Bournemouth.
Oh, yes, good point.
Since leaving, I think he'll get an amazing reception, because
that'll be nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. When he was getting appointed, Nelly, I think you just seen loads of positive comments from Bournemouth fans going, "He's going to be great for you. He was amazing for us." Yeah, yes, he took them down, but you know, I don't. Realistically, it should have been Villa that went down, because it was a VAR failure where the goal line technology didn't work. But you just look at you looked at the work that he did at Bournemouth and you're going, wow. But then you're looking at what he's done with us and you're just going, an even bigger wow, because you're going, we shouldn't be anywhere near where we are.
No.
Now, given in terms of like what we've done, so it just shows, he deserves every single plaudit that he's got. I think there'll be quite a friendly atmosphere everywhere. There's not really going to be a rivalry between us and Bournemouth. It'll probably be, it'll just be one big Eddie Howe loving.
That's nice. Yeah, I don't think it'll be 10. They need the points. They're down there. They weren't played them last. They are now. That new manager bounce has definitely gone. Pretty much the second they made him permanent, it disappeared. Like he lost the game after that for Gary O'Neill. So they are starting to slip, and it's pretty tight down there. You saw Leeds sack their manager this week, and Forest seemed pretty solid, to be honest.
Ted Lasso.
Sorry?
Ted Lasso,
yeah. If only Ted Lasso's class. It's it's tricky down there. So from my point of view, Max, before bringing you in, I'll give you my 2 cents. Yeah, I think you're both right. I think ASM will start. I don't think he should, but I think he will. I think Gordon will come on. The only frustrating thing I have is that means Gordon's probably not going to get more than 20 minutes because he doesn't really make changes until 60, 70 minutes on the clock. But I can certainly see ASM giving not one more chance necessarily, but another chance to impress. Isak and Gordon on late on. I think we'll win. I think we're a better team than they are. I don't think we'll concede more than one anyway, and I think we definitely can score. If Wilson has a scoring boots on, I think he's got a bit of confidence there. You can see he was really pleased and relieved to get that goal. I think we'll beat them. I'm going to say 2-0. 2-0. Max, what do you think?
Yeah, I always think we have like weird games when we play at Bournemouth. It's probably something with the camera angle. It's always the lower camera angle. I feel like they're always like weird games when we play them. It's going to be interesting to see how they approach the game, because when they came up to St. James's, like most teams, they just park the bus and hope for a draw.
Yeah.
As you said, they need points, so it'll be interesting to see if they go for it. And also they have made it quite new signings, and I think some of them look really good, like exciting players, quick players, young players also. Could be something to watch out for on the counters. So it could, and also I think ASM should start, and I think he will start. I think he deserves another opportunity, and if he doesn't take it that time, then it may be a bit time for someone else to try out.
Yeah.
But also in a game like that, when he's going to probably play against Adam Smith, who is a quite slow and old right back, could be something to look out for. So tough game, I think. It's going to be a bit cagey, but I think we come out on top 2-1 win in the end.
Concede? Don't normally do
that.
Yeah,
I think they get on us on one counter attack or some weird goal in the end, and then.
My prediction is the front three is going to be Richie, Wilson, and Fraser. We're just going to have a Bournemouth reunion.
Just to mess with them. Fraser might get on for a wee testimony. Or no, Fraser and Richie might be testimonials, get on for we run around.
But it'll be like the Eddie Howe testimonial, will you? Fact is, though, Richie likes scoring a goal at Bournemouth.
He does. That's true. That's true. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. And thanks so much for the comments, and for anyone watching along live or after the fact. As I said earlier, give us a like, please. Subscribe so we can grow the channel. That would be great. We'll be back. Producer Mark, when will we be back? We'll be
Friday for the look ahead.
Friday for the look ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, everyone, and have a good night. See you later.